Hey, John, can you hack this lock?
Not without all my shit.
261011.
What?
That's Chris's dad's code. I'm guessing it's the same.
Hey, panelers, welcome back to the show. I'm Mark.
And I'm Steve.
And this is going to be a spoiler podcast about, well, we're covering Peacemaker currently. So Peacemaker Season 2. And within this particular podcast episode, we're covering episodes 5 and 6 of Peacemaker Season 2, entitled Back to the Suture, and episode 6, entitled Ignorance is Chris. Yeah, that was kind of a tongue twister, but I apologize for you, everybody. Life got in the way a little bit, so right now we're doing these two back to back. By the time you get this, actually, Peacemaker episode 7, the penultimate episode, will be up. But Steve and I will be putting that up that day. I will be putting that up that day, free to send any feedback if you want to. But in this case, we're covering Peacemaker Season 2, episodes 5 and 6. So, Steve, Peacemaker Season 2, episode 5, Back to the Suture.
Absolutely. Back to the Suture. Red's ritual reveals Eagly's location while Flag confronts Peacemaker. As Peacemaker makes a life-changing choice, Adebayo and Vigilante try to unite the 11th Street kids. And by the way, it's Red Saint Wild.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The ST is for Saint.
Saint.
Is for Saint. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. They said it several times on the official podcast, and if you go back and watch the episodes, you'll hear them say Saint Wild. But on the official podcast, they definitely it's the ST is short for Saint.
Awesome.
So, yeah,
cool.
And then episode 6, Ignorance is Chris. As the 11th Street kids fight to bring their missing member home, Flag doubles down on his efforts to hold Peacemaker accountable. Yeah, interesting.
A little interesting thought too. This is something that we didn't bring up. This came out after the last time we recorded for episode 4. Apparently, Red Saint Wild is a meta, according to James Gunn.
Yeah, he's a meta, and I was going to talk about this in episode 6, but they kind of go together. It looks like we got I guess it's kind of it is in episode 5. We kind of got our first meta, well, besides kaijus, our first meta animal, right? Because Eagly appears to be some kind of a meta as well. So yeah, James Gunn on the official podcast for episode 4, they talked about that ending thing where, and they joked about Rooker, that Rooker did such a good job in that whole sequence of dancing and had to do it so many different times and different takes and stuff. But that he's definitely using sorcery and using some kind of magic in there. And so he may be considered a meta-human in that, in his own right. And also, what's interesting in that podcast, I don't know if you knew this, but Rooker was not the first actor they cast in that
I heard about that. Yeah.
James Gunn did not reveal who the original one was, but he said whoever it was it wasn't working out with him. And so he called up Rooker basically just out of the blue and said, "Hey, can you come and play this part?" And he came in and he killed it. And in episode 5 literally got killed, but I said that he came in and he only had to film a couple of days or something like that, but came in and did just awesome with this part of this cultural appropriations character. But yeah, he said he just called Rooker out of the blue because they were friends, and because he's been in so many of James Gunn's stuff, and said, "Hey, can you come and do this?" And sure enough, so yeah, very cool.
I'm very curious. Do you think he mentioned it to somebody that used to be on Smallville, who he's a good friends of? The one who played another Lex Luthor?
I mean, that'd be
Michael
interesting.
Rosenbaum?
That would be interesting. I would feel Michael Rosenbaum is pretty outspoken on his podcast, and I would think if he had been in this show, or if he had been considered for, I think he would let us know if so I don't
I
know.
would love to have seen Michael Rosenbaum on a Peacemaker episode, everybody. Trust me.
Yeah, that would have been quite an Easter egg, especially in episode 6, the cameo we get in episode 6.
Yeah.
With that. But yeah, it's like I said, he was very tight-lipped. He did not say who the original actor was, and I haven't tried to do any deep dive research to find out. I may do a couple of searches to see if I can figure out who the original actor
That
was.
would be great.
Yeah. But yeah, and since we're on this topic anyway, I'm just going to flow right into one of my points,
Go ahead.
which is Red Saint Wild's death. That was disturbing.
It was disturbing.
I cannot lie.
Surrounded by a bunch of eagles, and Eagly being the prime eagle that was there.
I couldn't figure out. So did he kill Eagly and Eagly came back from the dead, or did he kill another eagle and Eagle?
I have no clue, because my feeling was that I thought he had killed Eagly, and an Eagly came back from the dead, and all the other eagles with their powers brought Eagly back, and they wound up attacking Red Saint.
I wasn't even on the second watch. I wasn't sure because I couldn't. The way the camera moved and the way so many eagles were flying in, I couldn't see if the original body, the first eagle body that he shot, was still there. The one that he kind of dug his hands in and was gross. But I cannot lie. Like last week when I watched this episode for the first time last week, and I watched it for the second time today. Both these episodes, because both these episodes are disturbing. But the death of Red Saint Wild was so disturbing to me. I had to let it set for a few days. I couldn't. I was sick anyway last week.
Yeah,
and I wasn't going to be able to podcast on it. Anyway, but even if we had tried to podcast, I'm not sure if I would have been able to find the words because it was so disturbing. Watching it and watching it the second time today was a little easier since I knew what was coming. But still, the way those birds swooped in and just are pecking at him, and they show his face, and that was just a disturbing death to me. So
nothing new to Mr. Rooker, by the way, everybody. He was in Slither, and he was in the Suicide Squad.
And as I was reminded today when James Gunn. It's funny, James Gunn on the again, I listened to the official podcast for episode 4 today. Tim Meadows was on that podcast, and he said that he was on a plane preparing for this role, and the movie Mississippi Burning came up.
Oh my!
And Rooker, I had forgotten that Rooker was in that.
Yeah,
he
was
an evil part in that. And he said it was probably on the plane because it was a Gene Hackman thing. Because it was, I'm sure, when this was all recorded was probably when Gene Hackman had just passed away. Probably when they filmed all this, so it wouldn't surprise me. But it was interesting to hear Steve Agee and. It was interesting to hear Steve Agee talk about Tim Meadows as being this comedy legend, that he had never worked with before. And then to hear Tim Meadows talk about Michael Rooker, another legendary star that he got to work with at this time. So it was just really, really cool. And so it's not in my notes, but I would highly recommend if you have not listened to the HBO Max official podcast, check it out. It's really cool.
I highly recommend it in the sense that a lot of shows have been doing this, and even past shows. Truest Blood does that for HBO as well with Deborah Ann Wall and another actress, and I'm sorry if I forgot your name. I love them, actually. I do love the Truest Blood. So if you actually do follow True Blood, follow that. Definitely follow what's going on with Peacemaker on the Peacemaker cast that they have on HBO and
Yeah.
follow that podcast. James
For
Gunn
sure.
is so open about everything within the podcast, it seems, and what's going on with the DCEU or DCU. I don't know
Mhm.
what to call it now.
I think James Gunn goes back and forth. I think he primarily uses DCEU now,
Okay.
because he's bringing things into this show, and that I didn't even know because I'd never watched Creature Commandos, but
Oh, I did.
he's bringing things into, because I guess in one of the episodes, either 5 or 6, Rick Flag Senior talks something about his back being broken.
Yes.
And that was in an episode of Creature
Oh yeah, it was
Commandos. So he mentioned that in the podcast, and I didn't catch that because I hadn't watched Creature Commandos. So it's interesting that he's making that canon as well, as some other things that he's making canon, some things that he's retconning and
Yeah.
taking away from canon, which is really cool. That's totally his choice. I mean, Kevin Feige could do the same thing in Marvel if he wanted to. He's the runner. He's the guy in charge. So it's his. He can do that if he wants to do it. That's and you know.
Yeah, that's something I highly recommended to everybody. I mentioned Creature Commandos. I think Rob and I wanted to do a whole overview of the first season. Check it out. Just watch it. You could easily binge watch it within a day if you have the time. Trust me, and it'll be fun. Yes, it's animated. Yes, you'll get some other characters we know from, the Suicide Squad that James Gunn has done. But there are new characters, and you'll see other characters there. You'll enjoy it. But it also puts forth even more into the DCEU that he has created. And he has made some sort of statement. And we'll talk about that at the end in my show notes or my notes after the show. But regarding this particular episode of for season 2, episode 5, we start off with the burial of the flashback of the burial of Rick Flag Jr., which was interesting. And Rick Flag Sr., talking to Harcourt about the files and talking to her a little bit was a bit eerie because it sounded like he was coming on to her at the same time at his son's funeral, and then him telling her that Rick Jr. was in love with her, and Harcourt telling him to call her who she is because he kept calling her Amelia, and she only says General, which we see that
she
for the past few episodes.
She does call him Rick. She does call him Rick when she one time in that scene does call him Rick, and then later in other sequences we've seen him correct her, and she eventually comes to calling him Rick. But yeah, I get it. And we've talked about this before. And they kind of explain it in episode 6. We kind of get a little bit of an explanation for it. But she says she can't tell him who killed his son, but she does vow that the killer will pay. And so, this
was pre-season 1 at this point.
Right.
Everybody.
This is after the Suicide Squad, but before season 1 of Peacemaker.
Correct.
Yeah.
So she knew that Chris was the one that killed Rick Jr. at this point.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's why it's a bit of a they kind of
flip flop.
Yeah, they do. They flip flop it. They kind of explain it. And it's in my notes for episode 6 because we get the explanation. We get her breaking down in episode 6, and when we get to episode 6, I'll talk some more about it. But we do get this idea that she she's vowed that the killer will pay. And so it's just interesting that she
falls
Yeah,
in love to some degree.
that she eventually comes in. Again, we'll talk some more about that when we get to episode 6. But yeah, the funeral scene. I was talking before we started recording. Again, something else that James Gunn said in that episode 4 podcast was that every episode has opened with a flashback to the Prime world.
Yes,
and I think that's true for the first 5 episodes, because definitely for the first 5 episodes that's true. I think episode 6 gets a little bit iffy. But yeah, here in episode 5, the flashback is to the funeral. It's the Prime world, and we get the idea that so that Amelia is definitely she wants to avenge Rick's death, regardless of how no matter how, like, obviously it seems that in the Prime world, at least, that Rick may have had stronger feelings for her than what she had for him.
I think so too.
Which is kind of the same thing with Peacemaker in a way that
so
we'll see.
Chris is torn, and that's why he's so in love with the idea of going to that other world, because he would have his brother, he would have his father, he would have Harcourt,
and he has Harcourt. Yeah. That's what he does at the end of this episode. We've still got some more stuff to talk about within episode 5, but at the end of the episode, that's why he leaves, because she won't admit to him that she loves him or that she has any feelings for him. And so, on that park bench, when she says, no, the boat meant nothing to me, I was drunk and it was a mistake. And so you see that heartbreak in him, and that resolve that when he gets out of the police station and Adebayo and Vigilante pick him up, an economist brings him to the car, and Adebayo's like, they just let him go. And he said, well, yeah, they didn't have any choice but to let him go. You can see that he is just devastated.
That is true.
That. And he's devastated because the Harcourt that he loves has basically, in his mind, has rejected him. And he knows that there's a Harcourt that he may not be totally in love with, but that he can be with. And so I totally understand why he makes the decision at the end of episode 5 to go to the other world, because for him, and obviously we've watched episode 6. We now know what the other world is, and we know that it's not the perfect world.
Yeah, we'll get into that a little later.
But yeah, that's why he makes that decision to leave. So yeah.
And like we said, everybody, spoiler full. So
yeah, absolutely,
But you've had more than enough time, honestly,
to watch him.
Yeah.
And you shouldn't be listening to this if you haven't watched already.
Exactly. But the funniest is like the talk with Chris and Harcourt at the park, with all the ops that are around them. Chris showing up dressed as his doppelganger. So she goes, "What are you dressed as?"
And literally, he still has his alt Chris clothes on. Yeah.
And then engaging with the kids to kind of distract people, but being Chris and who Chris is. And then he winds up sitting at the bench talking to Harcourt. I keep saying Carhartt. I don't know why. It's my dyslexia, everybody. I look at something and I go, but anyhow, she wants him to leave, but him telling her to get out of there, and he knows that everybody is around them and that they are there, and she tells him that his ego is way too big. He starts bringing up everything about like you stated, when they went on that boat trip and everything, and had the little encounter, and she has to break him down verbally at this point. And Chris getting out of the situation was really interesting at this point.
Yeah, I love that Judo Master is the sniper with the dart, with the trank darts, and the way Chris is moving around, putting people between. He knows, because he knows where the sniper would be, which is a little. They like, I wish they'd given us some sort of indication of him, but like before he went to the park, if he scoped it out and goes, okay, I think if there's a sniper, he's going to be here.
Yeah.
And then because that's the only way he would be able to keep someone between him and the sniper all the time,
Yeah.
But yeah, I love that scene at the very beginning where he's like picking up little kids and carrying them and walking behind people, and he shifts around Harcourt so that they don't get a good shot. And then we learned that Bordeaux is a cyborg. I don't know if we knew that before.
No.
We didn't find out till this episode that Bordeaux is a cyborg, and economists apparently had her picture as her mutilated body as a picture as his screensaver on his phone for a while. Weird. He's kind of a weirdo.
He is a very strange person, but there's a lot of stuff that come out about economists for the next episode.
Yeah, exactly. I don't have much.
What about Flurry being called Shaft by somebody?
I love it. I have that. Yeah, I have that. That is actually my only quote that I have is when Chris calls him Shaft, and Flurry's response is, "Shaft, you're complimenting me. That's a novel strategy. Thank you." I thought was just great. That you're complimenting me, and Chris doesn't even respond to that. But I love that he calls him Shaft, and Chris says that's a compliment, or Flurry says that's a compliment. So
I love the bit about ads getting a call from her ad in the magazine, and it's all sexual based, and then Adrian telling her that they want her for sex. And
yeah, exactly. And her not realizing it was just crazy that she didn't realize that was what she was talking about, going Greek. Yeah, I loved it. The other thing that I picked up on in this episode that I hadn't noticed before, and I was been trying to figure out, is on the wall of Argus, it says that Argus is Advanced Research Group, the United States. That's a clunky acronym.
Yeah,
that's what it is. Advanced Research Group, the United States.
That's kind of like Shield too, by the way.
Yeah, like Shield is this. Yeah,
Strategic Homeland.
Is it Strategic Homeland Investigations Enforcement Law Division or something like that? It's a clunky kind of thing, and the Argus one is the same way. I'm loving the end tags after the credits. If you're not watching through the credits and seeing the end tags, they are great. The one for episode 4 with Rooker eating the bird poo and giving all the different foods that the bird had eaten. And Economist is just like, how can you know that? You don't know that he ate that. And in this one, it was there in the car, and he's trying to get Vigilante to shut up. How many? What is it? What was he talking about this time? Marmots or what was the animal this, like, there's a different animal every episode.
There is always a different animal
that Vigilante fixates on, and this one was manta rays. That's what it was. This one was manta rays. How many manta rays does it take for you to shut up? And Vigilante's in the back of the car counting on his fingers, like 4, 5, 6. How many manta rays? It was just I'm loving the tags at the end of the episodes. I thought they were really great.
But the episode leaves us off at the very end with Chris taking his life to the other dimension, and Judo Master seeing him and eagerly going there into the door. Ed shows up with Adrian in the car at the cabin at the same time, but Judo tries to follow him.
Yeah, we don't know. All we
Judo
know is
Master didn't get through himself. He left cheetah fingerprints that they see later.
Well, yeah, he left a note. This is what we don't know, and we don't even know this in episode 6 because he doesn't show up anywhere in episode 6. So we're not going to know until episode 7 whether he made it, went through the door and maybe went to the wrong place, because he didn't know where the other door was. They, like, Adebayo and Vigilante knew that Chris had described it as having Peacemaker helmets and looking like the same kind of door. Judo Master had no clue where to go once he walked in.
He could have been in another dimension at that point.
He could be anywhere, but I'm assuming anyway that he definitely, because that's what the note says. I followed through the door, and that's what she knew. And then she finds the other note and takes that back. Yeah. And that's when she meets up with the 11th Street kids, and they decide they're going to go after him. I love that ending leading us right into episode 6, because that with Harcourt picking up the device, and they're like, oh, we're the note said to take the device back to Argus, so you can probably all get your jobs back. And Harcourt's like, no, I'm not. We're going to go get Chris. And that's how the episode ends is we're going to go get.
I love that whole ending. But we do see Chris in a new dimension, Keith seeing Eagly and Chris states, he's my new mascot. I love him. He's part of my new thing.
He's my new sidekick. We gotta go fight a kaiju. That's right. That is at the end of the episode too, isn't it? That he because he's washing all the blood off himself and washing up his cuts and stuff. And Keith catches him, say, suit up, we gotta go. And they show them flying, the 4 of them. There's Eagly, Peacemaker, Red, whatever David Dennison's character is called, and then Blue Dragon. Flying
all together.
To fight. Flying all together to go fight
evil.
This kaiju. So
I thought it was a crazy little ending, but the only quote we didn't get to it was Judo Master, and it had to do with his conversation with Flurry at that point, saying Munchkin means little child, and there was like this whole back and forth about. Children.
Yeah, and he says, "I'll rip your dick off." Yeah, not metaphorically. I literally mean I will rip your penis off.
Yeah, exactly.
It was hilarious.
It was hilarious.
You notice after that, Flurry calls him Judo Master. Flurry doesn't call him any more nicknames after that. He calls him Judo Master on the thing. So so it's great. And again, that leads us straight into episode 6. Which begins, and I was telling Mark again before we started recording that the beginning episode 6 we start actually in the alt universe, because we have Augie, Keith, and Peacemaker and Amelia there at a diner. They're eating. It appears that they've got some stuff on their uniform, so this might be after this is my assumption. This is why I assume this is not a flashback, because first off, Amelia is wearing the same clothes that her character
wears. And it's a
wears.
dress, everybody.
But she's wearing a blouse with a skirt, and or a dress, and it's the same clothes she wears throughout the episode. But they're at a diner, and at the very end, before it goes into the opening credits, all the faces morph. And the thing that I didn't catch, and I don't know if you caught this, Mark, his dad's face morphs, his brother's face kind of morphs into this. All the faces morph into this strange kind of wacky, except for Chris's. Did Chris's not?
It didn't really at all.
Okay,
it did sort of, but not much. Not as much as his father, his brother, or Harcourt.
Okay, yeah. So I wonder if that was supposed to give us a kind of a foreshadowing of this because again,
if he's trying to move into this dimension to morph into it.
Yeah, well,
I thought.
I was kind of more thinking that it was to give us a clue as to the nature of this dimension. Again, we're assuming you've watched episode 6, so you know what the end of episode 6 tells us.
Oh yeah,
is that this is Earth X. This is the Nazi Earth.
I don't see anything. Sorry.
That when he unveils the flag and it's got the little Nazi insignia on the flag,
the swastika, everybody,
the swastika on the flag, and it's been confirmed in multiple interviews that I've kind of clicked on, and some of it was clickbait, but I kind of clicked on some things to see this week because I didn't realize. And I'll ask you, Mark, because you may or may not know from the DC comic, is this Earth X a thing? I
have not read the comic, but I am not sure if it's a thing. But this episode has sparked so much controversy in social media that they actually have a thing for video games and Fortnite and stuff like that with Peacemaker.
With his move, with his arm,
with the
moves,
dance, dance. and they're feeling that it's more Nazi-ish or
I don't know.
I
think they're
don't know, and I think they're stretching it, but
I think that's a stretch. Yeah, I think that's a stretch to say that
honestly,
his arm
I
motions
think
are.
if you're a true fan, honestly, and this is my opinion, and you could disagree with me all you want, please don't cancel me. But my feeling is that they were doing this, and all these dances were put forth in the first season.
Yeah,
It's the same dance.
I
Honestly,
didn't pay enough close enough attention to the choreography to know, but I
same
think they're
here.
I think they're stretching. I think they're stretching it to
I
try to
think
pull
it's
out
a
the
lot of
choreography.
stretch.
And,
Honestly, if you know the character Chris, he's pure in heart and who he is. He wants to do good. He doesn't judge people. His best friend is Ads, who's a black person. Would he be a Nazi?
Yeah,
No.
I don't think the Chris that we know is definitely not. Now the Peacemaker from the alternate, the one that got killed,
It's a possibility.
it's
Yeah.
highly possible. And I love one of the things my first point really in episode 6 really is how now that we have this reveal at the end of what this dimension is, you know, and Harcourt looks around and goes, "There's no people of color.
There's no people of color." I was like, "Whoa!"
We are going to. What I realized today on my second watch is, and because I was watching on my second watch, I was trying to watch to see if there's any indication of this, and there's not any people of color anywhere, but I don't remember. But now when we rewatch it, knowing what we know now, we're going to go all the way back to episode 1 or episode 2 when whenever the alternate universe was first introduced,
and look at it.
And we're going to start looking for, were there clues all along the way of this that we just missed because we weren't catching it? So I think attention. Yeah, I think ultimately rewatches are going to be the key for this one. I love the ending.
I think we were whitewashed, Steve.
I love the ending as each of them starts to figure it out. It starts very slowly. It starts with Adrian telling his alternate.
Oh my God, I love that.
It was such a great scene.
Everything about them, pure and innocent.
Yeah, they were great together. The actor did a wonderful job of portraying that, and he's
such a man.
Yeah, and they're exactly the same up until the point when our
Peacemaker's our best friend. No,
and the guy goes, "No, he's my arch enemy," and you're like, "Wait a minute, why is he your arch enemy?" And he's like, "That's why I'm part of." And I didn't catch the name. I wish I had written it down.
Same here.
Freedom Brigade or Freedom Fighters or something like that.
Yeah.
That alternate Adrian says he's part of. And then they cut away from him and they bring us back to, I think they cut away immediately to Economists in the house when Augie comes home and finds him there and then stabs him through the hand, and Economist just tells him the whole thing. I'm from an alternate universe.
Yeah.
I'm with an alternate version of your son who killed your son from he just spills the beans
everything.
About everything to this Augie. And then we cut to Amelia saying and did it. It was kind of at the same time, right? That we see Lee start to get chased, and people we see Keith stop the truck, and all these people are looking strangely at Adebayo, and it's a black person, and they start chasing after her. And right then, that's when it cuts back to Amelia going, "I've not seen any people of color."
And then they look at the flag, and it shows
he unrolls that flag,
and you see the swastika,
the swastikas,
and where the stars would be, and everything else is stars and stripes. And it's just like, what world did we get involved to? But this is what was writing on the wall for basically what was opposite in our world, that Chris that we know is completely opposite. So I think it's kind of the bizarro world, everybody.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about Superman and Bizarro, but
it is a bizarre world, though.
It is a bizarre world.
But yeah, I just, it's one of those things that episode 7 can't come quickly enough.
But also you already mentioned it before. We get Rick Flag Sr. speaking to somebody from a Superman movie.
Yeah, I've got that lower down in my notes where he makes that call that I'm going to go to Belle Reve in Louisiana.
Yep.
And he meets with Lex Luthor, the Lex Luthor from the Superman movie.
Yep.
And it was actually a great scene. That guy playing Lex Luthor is just swarmy.
Oh, he's amazing for the fact that, honestly, if you look at him, if you all remember, guess who you remember him from? X-Men First Class. He played Beast, everybody.
Okay. I wouldn't have known that. Yeah, not.
You don't remember that?
No, it's been so. I haven't watched those Fox X-Men movies in forever, man.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, it's not a Fox X-Men. Well,
whatever. I haven't watched the X-Men. I haven't watched any of the X-Men movies in forever. Like,
really,
it's been a long time. Yeah, no, I may have watched them once or twice, if at all. I know I watched First Class at least once, but I only remember Kelsey Grammer playing Beast. I don't remember this guy.
This was Nicholas Holt.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying he didn't. I'm just saying I don't remember him playing Beast. The only Beast I remember is Kelsey Grammer. So
Days of Future Past, Nicholas Holt was perfect in. Honestly, everybody, I loved him. But he plays Lex in this, and he played Lex in the Superman movie. If you haven't listened to the old Fantasy Picks movie edition, guys, myself, Adam Gonzalez, Robert Moda, and Frank Gonzalez, and we Frank Rodriguez. Oh geez, I'm gonna get in trouble.
Anyhow, just stop giving people's full governments out and you'll be fine.
Yeah, exactly. So all of us discussed the new Superman film, and we compared it to the other Superman film. I thought Nicholas Holt's portrayal of Lex was pretty decent. I thought it was good. No, I love the fact that he brings up in this episode that he mentioned to Flag how he tried to rid the world of a meta issue, but yet he's incorporating meta people into.
Yeah, now he's incarcerated with.
And he's incarcerated. I forget who he listened to in the next cell that were having. Whatever.
He said they were having sex. It was a weird description he gave.
Yes, it was. And you guys can divulge that all you want.
No, and I love that they come away from that with Lex, whether he's telling the truth or not, and I guess we'll find out down the road. Lex claiming he has a scanner that can find these portal things. Yeah. I personally think he's lying. I don't believe him. I think I think we're going to find he's going to use this as a way to escape. Maybe. I don't know if we see him, if we even see him again, I don't know. But we know that Flag walks out and he tells Bordeaux that now they're partners with Lex Luthor. So we may or may not see him again. But it was a great cameo. And that guy, like I said, he's a great Lex Luthor. I'm not going to say he's the best Lex Luthor.
No, I put him on par in middle ground. He's not the best, and the best to me would be the one and only. Who do you think, Steve?
I mean,
who is the first Lex Luthor we ever saw?
I was going to say Gene Hackman. Gene Hackman, for me, it's Gene Hackman. It always goes back to Gene Hackman.
It goes no
matter
back
how
to
much
Gene
I love
Hackman.
Smallville, and I love, I'm with you on that. And I was going to say the same thing. No matter how much I love Michael Rosenbaum and love Smallville, it always goes back to Gene Hackman, just because that's the Superman
that's the Superman we all
Lex
grew
Luthor.
Up on.
Yeah, that's the Lex Luthor that we met. That's how we really met Lex Luthor for the first time.
And I would always say secondly would be Rosie. Definitely Michael Rosenbaum.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Michael Rosenbaum.
I do give credit to 2.5 Men.
Oh, John Cryer. Yeah,
John
he did
Cryer
a good job.
He did a great job
also in the DC, the DCU. basically, I guess you technically put him
Yeah.
in that category.
But yeah, we what Nicholas Holt did is still is doing, everybody, is great. They left that movie off on a cliffhanger, and there's a lot of things that unsaid. We can't wait till Supergirl to come out.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
I was just thinking about that today. Is, you know, my favorite, as I mean, the Superman movie was decent. I'm not going to pan it and say it was horrible. But my favorite part of the Superman movie was the end.
as jokingly as it was, as humorous as it was, a lot of people, and I still think it's a little bit hokey, but I think there's a little more realism into the levity that they put into it.
I liked it.
It's a lot of hidden trauma in there.
Yeah, I can't wait to see see Millie Acox as Supergirl, and that scene where she busts in to the Fortress of Salt. Sorry, guys, if we're spoiling Superman for you, it's a movie you should have seen already.
We already covered it.
You covered it already. So yeah, when she busts into the fortress, when did you move the door? I didn't move the door. Where's my dog? And the dog just attacks her and is dragging her around and stuff.
Yep, and she loves it.
I just thought it was great. And I can suspend my reality. I heard that this week. Instead of suspend your disbelief, it said suspend your reality. That's an interesting way to say it. Suspend your reality that she's got to go to planets with red suns in order to get drunk, and then she can still get back to Earth still drunk.
Yep.
Hey, okay. I don't care. I thought that's my favorite part of the whole.
She had to go to a party planet. That's all it was.
Exactly. I love that. Anyway, hey, but yeah, I can't wait to see. We're off topic again.
Yeah, but Marvel did it with a what if, everybody. Remember that?
Yeah, exactly. Going back to the Adrian thing, we talked a little bit about Adrian and his doppelganger, his alt version.
Yeah, it's like, my dad's not gay in this world.
I had that quote in my notes. Dad's not gay here. Yeah, just the way he's giddily, he treats his mom so poorly.
He does.
The Prime universe.
He's abusive to her.
Oh, he's just a jerk. And then when we get to this universe and we see him meet, and they do the Spider-Man meme, and they even reference it as a Spider-Man meme. Yep. I thought that was hilarious.
So that became canon, everybody.
So that's canon. That Spider-Man, at least there's some part of the Marvel universe, the Marvel comics that are in the DCEU. Yeah, the Marvel comics. So I thought that was great. We're the Spider-Man meme. I thought that was great. Yep. Let's see. What else did I have on here?
The cocaine.
The cocaine. The fact that he kept everything. I have that quote down here also.
They kept money. Harcourt economists.
They're all putting money in there. And before they go through the portal, by the way, they did all that before they went through the portal. And I'm thinking to myself, what are they going to do? Are they going to try to hold on to it until they come back? What's going to, or are they just hoping to come? They're going to come back to the same place. So
they're going to wind up back in the same room. So they might as well grab it when they leave.
When they leave, yeah, I thought it was funny. I
thought it was foreshadowing for the fact that the cocaine got on them and they were wiping it off. And
I knew somebody was going to get caught with that cocaine. I knew
somebody was going to get caught, and of course, it was Harcourt.
It was Harcourt, yeah.
And the funniest part was, and I had a laugh. She winds up getting caught in the middle of the office by a dog.
Mm-hmm.
And then on top of that, her getaway gimmick from her with Chris's brother Keith was, I have to bring him this snow globe that he gave me to bring to my office.
That's before they even get to Argus.
That was crazy. It's like a whole convoluted story of how,
that's the tag at the end. That's the tag at the end that they give us is the whole convoluted story of the, she says, because your mom loved me. He goes, our mom died when Chris was 2. And he's like, yeah, but she's a ghost. She's been haunting me. Like that's hilarious. But that all took place before she went to Argus and got caught with the cocaine.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. But I love that whole scene because it goes from comedy to really, and this is what I was talking about when we were talking about episode 5, where she reveals she kind of reveals her feelings here in that she did say at first she had disdain for him, but then she grew to like him, and he wants her to say, and what I saw, what got me in the whole thing, the biggest thing that got me, actually the two biggest things that got me from Amelia was the fact that she is so closed off, she can't tell him that she loves him, even though you can see that she feels that way. She has these very strong feelings, but she can't show them or tell or say them. And then when he talks about her, he says, I love you. She's great though. And I like her, or something to that effect.
Yes.
But it basically comes down
It's like
to
a mix between.
yeah.
For him.
No, it's not. I mean, he's like, if I can't have you, if I can't have the one that I love, this is my interpretation of it.
Go ahead.
No, he's not trying to mix them. He's looking at it as, if I can't have you, the one that I love, then I can at least have her, because she's at least a version of you that I can like, and that shows me affection. That's what he's getting from her, because they're in bed together. They're having that affection. You can see that. Now, are things going to change when he finds out that she's probably a racist Nazi? I don't know. That's for the future. And we don't know how the other Amelia feels about this world. We do get that at the very end.
Yeah,
and I didn't catch it. I didn't catch it till my second watch. But you can hear Alt Amelia yelling at them to arrest her, that's not me, arrest that woman. So she has definitely now made it to Argus. So episode 7 is going to be, we're going to see
all messed up.
Right. What is Chris going to do? Chris is going to have to make a choice. Is he going to break out of there with the Amelia that he loves, or is he going to give up the Amelia that he loves in order to be with the one that he just likes? We'll see. I don't know. I thought though, the ending, I almost wish we waited, but I definitely want a podcast on 7 as soon as we can.
We will try our best.
We'll try our best. Yeah. Life gets in the way, folks.
We're recording October 1st. I'm hoping Wednesday to get night. This. Yeah. I'm hoping to get this to you guys out to you on October 2nd. And that way, by that night, you have the episode of the new episode, and then you get to listen to it the next day. And then hopefully by the weekend, we could record and get that out to you sooner than possible. I only have 2 more things, and really neither of them are very long. The first one is that I'm gonna backpedal a little bit on Adrian being part of this group, because obviously he and Chris are much closer than what we saw on screen. There had to be a lot of off-screen stuff that happened because Adrian knows the code to the door. Yes. For whatever reason, Adrian knows, try his dad's code. It's this. And I'm just like, how would he know that? Well, he was there when Chris had to get rid of his doppelganger, and right. I'm just saying I'm apologizing because I was speaking out of turn, saying that I didn't think they were that close, and now I'm realizing they are a lot closer. They are a lot closer, which is really weird because Chris always said that he goes, "Yeah, Adrian's a little bit weird and strange," but he accepts Adrian as to who he is, but tries to steer him in the right direction. Yeah. Kind of like how Harcourt is with Chris and trying to help him, even though she is it's like taking 2 opposite versions of a magnet trying to come together, and they know each other too well, but they're pushing back. Yeah. But they need to snap together on the opposite sides together to come together. I don't know if that makes any sense to you guys, but in my mind, in my weird
Yeah, and
mind.
then the last thing I have is I have that quote from you were talking about the cocaine when they're asking when they're giving Adrian a hard time when economists
Go ahead.
is giving him a hard time. Why didn't you flush the cocaine down the toilet? And Adrian talks about the alligators, and he says, as if the addiction epidemic facing this country isn't bad enough, he also wants the alligators in the sewers to be junkies. I just thought that was just a
It was
wild
immense. It was funny.
and crazy crazy line for him to have. So
It is. It is a crazy line, but it is Adrian. So
yeah, that's all I have for this.
I only have one quote.
Okay.
I have one from ads about the money in Adrian's secret tomb. Dude, you asked me for money last week because you couldn't afford breakfast.
I'm not going to use this blood money. It's blood money.
Exactly.
Yeah.
and an economist saying, Adrian, why can't you just flush your drugs in the toilet like everyone else? And Adrian's like, because all of the alligators, you idiot, that would be terrible to them.
Yep. Very cool. All right. You've got some needle drops for us, some musical references.
All right. I'll go to the needle drops, but you'll laugh as we get to them. All right. So, needle drops for Peacemaker season 2, episode 5, Back to the Suture. We get Ain't That Kind of Girl by the Diemonds. Diemonds. After Harcourt takes down Peacemaker to save his life, mind you, this song starts playing while Argus trusses him up. It continues to play while Abadeo gets her customer, who unfortunately thinks she's a prostitute.
Mm-hmm.
Then we get November Rain by Guns N' Roses. After shutting down the portal behind him, Peacemaker washes the blood off his face in DC2. Well, these are people's quotes, so DC2 means the Dimension 2. While the Guns N' Roses classic plays, it continues as Adebayo reads Peacemaker's goodbye message to the 11th Street kids. And then we get Take Me for a Ride by Bad City. And now in possession of the dimensional suitcase thingy, the 11th Street kids head to another location to figure out how to use it and to get Chris back.
Yeah.
So that was good. Out of episode 5, everybody. Peacemaker season 2, episode 6, Ignorance is Chris. Little Drops of Heaven by the Pretty Maids. This song plays right towards the beginning of the episode as Peacemaker and the top trio take a very disturbing group photo in the restaurant. So that blurred scene that, Steve was talking about in the beginning.
About that,
yeah, that's it. Forever and One, quote unquote, Neverland by Halloween. Peacemaker wakes up with Harcourt from DC2, which is the Dimension 2, and the song continues as Keith drives Harcourt DCU style to Argus. They even discuss how Keith thinks they're considered side by side the Beatles, who are led by Mick Jagger in this world, in the alternate dimension. The song continues through a Harcourt shower scene, Vigilante staking out his alternate dimension, Double's house, and more. So, those of you who don't know me, listeners, I'm a huge Halloween fan. And the funny part about this particular scene and the song is the fact that Halloween is a German-based band. And it's based in the Dimension 2 universe where it's all Nazism. Halloween is not anything like that in our world here. They are a great band. They are full of love. Think of Halloween. They say hello just for like hell and everything else, but honestly, they are good people. They have really cool songs. I highly recommend them.
I didn't even
Halloween,
know it was a real band, so that's cool.
yeah,
Yeah.
they
Good to know.
have great. It's a thrash metal band from the mid to late '80s, and I think of them as Iron Maiden on steroids with their harmonies.
Okay.
They are very much versed. A lot of their song titles deem historical traits. They talk about things that have happened within history, and on top of that, uh, Kai Hansen, who is the creator of the band, who I love. I love the band. Uh, that tells you how much I'm like invested right now in this little comment. Uh, uh, I highly recommend it. Halloween is a great song. It's 11 minutes long, everybody. There's a lot of harmonies, and it talks about Halloween and celebration of it. So, I highly recommend it for those that are, because Halloween is coming up. Check it out. Halloween for Halloween. And check out their titles. Just go on YouTube and listen to them. Give them a view. And if Kai Hansen's out there listening, please give me a call. Please. I love you, man. Anyhow, next up, Presence of Mind by Dynasty. Dynasdy. As Abadeo is chased by a crowd of crazed and racists in the DC2, this begins the play and continues over the closing credits at this point. So, it's wow. This episode ended on a real weird way. I'm glad they didn't use the N-word in any way, because honestly, it would be so derogatory and it would probably be flagged by a lot of things. But they literally stated out flat out black.
Yeah.
And
I'm glad you said that because I didn't even think about it. I've been watching a lot of some older movies from the 90s that really use that word a lot. And
yes,
I realize that now we're here in these last, 10, 20 years or so. It's only been, 20, to realize it's only been 10 or 20 years that word has finally gotten the stigma to not be used.
And honestly, it kind of shadows over other things too. And I like to explain this in a certain way. Hate me if you will, everybody. Everybody has a freedom of thought, and I can't, change your mind. But color, freedom of, like the thought of color. A lot of people don't like the idea, but maybe this will get me canceled. I don't know. But my feeling is just that, I'm glad that it was expressed in a certain way where in the show it wasn't derogatory, but it's still expressed in a way of alienating somebody.
Yeah.
It was done in a proper way. But that could be for anybody in this country. Even a white person that grew up and they just happen to be brown. It's really sad. But it was done in a very, I think, fashionably way. But also,
Well, it was real quick. The only time anything was said was really fast, and you'd have to really be.
Yeah.
That's enough. I think that's enough on that. We can move on.
Same here. I really don't want to go into it because I'm like literally cornering myself at a certain point.
And I don't know what the show is going to do what the show is going to do any further with it. I hope it doesn't.
It's a very hard subject to really talk about, and I really have a hard time because I have a lot of friends who are multiracial and everything else. So anyhow,
well, and two middle-aged white men sitting around talking about it, isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah. Why am I talking about this?
Exactly.
I shouldn't
Exactly.
have to.
So,
I should have brought my friends here. Where's Everett when I need him?
all right,
Jeez.
let's move on. Let's move on. Anything else?
Nothing else as far as that is concerned. I don't have any quotes because I don't want to quote any more about this episode because
Yeah. I'm ready to move to the next thing.
It's like
Whatever you got whatever else you got to move on to.
podcast
Let's move on.
recommendations. Do you have any, Steve?
It's Alien Earth just finished up.
I gotta finish up
on
the actual
Podcastica.
episodes.
So check that out on Podcastica. I'll talk about it a little bit later, the cast of us. But yeah, just check out. There's a lot of podcasts out there. There's anything you're interested in, about you can find a podcast out there about it. We are not the only Peacemaker podcast. There's other Peacemaker podcasts that are out there as well. TV Podcast Industries is covering Gen V. They're great. We will cover Gen V eventually. We just haven't gotten to it yet. So
like Steve stated, TV Podcast Industries, Derek and John and their collaborators are trying to get it out as fast as they can. They have more time on their hands than I have, or Steve has, or even Rob and everybody else. So what our plans are is once we finish Peacemaker, we will go into Gen V. Jamie and I will finalize Invincible for the last bunch of episodes that are there. And we will do a full podcast about Marvel Zombies. And then once that's done, guess what? Move into the next phase of things that are coming out. Because there's more stuff to come. It just happened. Everything will happen at once. And we just don't have enough people. But just bear with us as we go through this. But actually, go to our friends at TV Podcast Industries. Go to podcastica.com where they do Alien Earth on what is House Podcastica that they're doing
House
that on.
House Podcastica, they're releasing that on dually on House Podcastica.
Yep.
So.
And do check out Still Slaying, a Buffyverse podcast that's out there with Penny and Kara and everybody else. I threw in some feedback recently too, which I thought was pretty cool. And I love what Penny does on there. I'm hoping to be back. I haven't asked to be back. I don't want to be one of those people who go, I have to do this episode. I'm not that one.
I was just on an episode a couple weeks ago, so with Still Slaying. So yeah,
awesome. So I'm hoping to come back. The season that they were covering, I was not a huge fan of. It's the next season.
Nobody was.
I was a big fan of. So
nobody's a big fan of season 4. I don't think I've found anybody that's a big fan of season 4.
No, it's
okay,
hard,
but it's not. It's rough.
There was a Frankenstein reference within it. There was this whole army thing, but if you are a fan of Buffy, please do check out Still Slaying, a Buffyverse podcast on podcastica.com. Anything that you would be interested in listening to, please go to podcastica.com. Jason and everybody of all our friends will be on there doing that, as well as TV Podcast Industries. They'll be doing their own thing. Run for Your Lives is on podcastica.com. So check out Daphne and Paik with their coverage. I kind of threw them a little suggestion. I'm hoping they do it. It's a new dinosaur movie. Anyhow, but other than that, the only thing I really would recommend probably be Crazy Train with my friend Jasmine St. Clair. And she is back in wrestling again, everybody. So she's doing her own thing with the independent wrestling league that's out there. It's an offshoot of ECW. but she still does her own podcast called Crazy Train. And it might not be for some, but the podcast goes within the professional movies and stuff like that, and adult entertainment, and especially music. So if you're interested in that, check that out. Crazy Train with a K, everybody. Anyhow, well, to submit your feedback, and we did put everything in there for you to submit your feedback. All you have to do is send your feedback to, well, we have a Facebook page, facebook.com/panels to pixels. We do leave a picture and what we're covering for the week. I did do that several weeks. I haven't gotten anything. That's fine, but I understand. But leave them in the comments below if you do see them. What's on Facebook is on Instagram. And literally all you have to do if you really want to email us is email us at panelstopixels1@gmail.com. And that's panels, 2 is spelled out T-O, pixels, and the number 1 @gmail.com. You can write out your thoughts and we'll read them. Or if you really feel poignant enough, you could easily record yourself and send that as an attachment. We'll play it, and it will be as if you're on the podcast. We actually have a YouTube page. So if you go search for Panels to Pixels podcast, Panels 2 TO Pixels and podcast at YouTube, and search it in the search bar, you'll find it. You'll see our logo. You'll see the episodes. Just like, subscribe, and ring the bell. And then if you write any sort of comment, we'll be able to see it, and I could actually relate it to everybody on the next podcast. It'd be awesome. We could be found on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. So if you could leave a rating or review, be greatly appreciated. Other than that, that's about it. I myself could be heard on this particular podcast, Panels to Pixels podcast, as well as the Pirate Core Entertainment podcast and Adrenaline Cinema podcast. So check those out. All you have to do is go to piratecoreentertainment.com and you'll find all the links. And there you go. Yes, it's fully running and operational, everybody. It's like the Death Star.
You can hear me. I was just on the Cast of Us feedback podcast for The Walking Dead, Daryl Dixon's show episode this week with Jason. You can find that at podcastic.com or The Cast of Us. Also, I send voicemails to various other podcasts that I listen to. And of course, I'm right here on Panels to Pixels podcast, and I'm not going away.
Yeah, he's not going away, everybody. And he and I have a lot to do on Adrenaline Cinema podcast as well, because we have to do Lethal Weapon 3.
Yes.
And amongst other things, too. Anyhow, so next week we are covering Peacemaker Season 2, Episode 7. I don't have the title.
It's okay.
But keep in mind, we are putting this out as soon as possible. So as soon as you can, as soon as you see that image on Facebook or Instagram or whatever, please put in your feedback if you can. We will greatly appreciate it. So I just want to thank everyone for listening. I'm Mark.
And I'm Steve.
Same podcast, different panel, different pixel. This was Panels to Pixels podcast. And we'll see you on the next panel. Good night, everybody.
Good night.